Hello, Julian.
Hey, how's it going, Ken?
Hey, there we go. Everything's working now.
Can I ask why there are not more Trump supporters when you do your show?
Oh, I'm not doing any political activity myself and the rest of my I'm not belonging to any clubs or anything. There's one other guy, I can't remember his name, but he lives in California and he's made a statement. He's been a lot of he's a military historian.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, I know him. Yeah, yeah, of course. He did the work on Kursk.
Yeah, he says he's proudly said I've had this many rallies and so forth and so on. But I've done a lot of political work younger, anti-nuclear and protests against the war, the Iraq invasion and stuff. But now on this side, I haven't been doing anything, so I'm not bringing anybody in. But on the other hand, the people I know, certain relatives and stuff that are support what Trump is doing. It's not a fan club of Trump. It's a fan club of the agenda, the basic platform. Close the borders and get rid of the swamp, the bureaucracy, and I was shocked on like when they were dealing with U.S. aid, and somebody would make a comment that you know thousands of people are going to die in Africa because we're not distributing anti-aid drugs, and I'm like, when did we put that shoulder on our back? Why is the United States responsible for the lives of millions of people in other countries? It's kind of crazy, I think. I mean,
Well,
it's.
I mean,
I mean, I'm not a. I keep forgetting the name of this famous.
You got killed.
What's a famous Christian group? Jesuits. I'm not a Jesuit. I'm not there to save the world. And I don't think most Americans are dedicated to that. This
What
is a
about the
mixed
rest of it? We're
country.
all supposed to be saying.
This is a country. There's
Ditto. Wait.
football. There's football. It's
Yeah,
based on
that's here at the
hierarchy. Who
beginning of
won the
your.
game? Who won the game? Knock that guy out. We
Oh,
have boxing. We
Yeah.
have martial arts. Not everybody is like, oh, geez, who can we help for you
you,
today?
yeah, you're trying to explain the U.S. to Julian. Is that
I'm
it?
just talking about why we don't have a lot of people with a different viewpoint than Wendy Woke.
That's just him, but
Oh,
it covers all the seals there.
oh
I
no,
just
you.
thought I just thought it'd be more useful to have more. I mean, if Trump had 10% support, I wouldn't bother listening to these people. But it's like 28%, 32%,
Yeah.
and they
Oh,
definitely don't appear that many times.
well, that's polarization, Julian.
Yeah.
Even
Thank you.
you could replace Trump with Hitler, and you would still get 20% of the
Oh,
Republicans because
Alex, I
that's
think
how
you're
many of them are into Hitler.
Alex, I think you're underrating the fantastic polarization you get from identity politics. You got the blacks against the
No,
Latinos, against the Asians, against the people from Venezuela and the people from Vienna and the people
sometimes,
from France.
but
Because I want my thing for my people. We need more recognition. And the gays, LGBTQ, they've had some arguments
no,
amongst
Julian's on
themselves.
too.
So
Yeah,
that's where you get your
from
polarization.
Canada. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
Actually,
no.
it's
Sometimes,
Obama.
yeah, but sometimes, no, no. I've just been reading this one book on, the Asian American experience, but point and kind of the mobile, how especially in recent years, they kind of joined a lot of these, um, organizations that defend Asians against like
That's
police
right.
violence, but
That's
also
polarization.
they joined. But the point is they joined forces with say African Americans or Hispanic Americans who have the same issues with but because they see minorities
And
as they
that's
say
the
all minorities in some sense that they're all treated by white America often relatively, so they all face
That's the
discrimination, but
that's the efforts
anti-minority
of
violence.
that's the new 20,000 or 2020 efforts the representation of communism. It's called
It's not nothing to
we're
do with
all
communism.
oppressed. We're all oppressed. I forget what they call it. They got a
It has
name
nothing
for
to
it.
do with communism. In fact, again, it's some of these,
Absolutely has to
it's
do
some of
with
these. No,
communism.
no, no,
It's got
no.
to do with
Because
the
in
oppressed and the
many
oppressor. The
in
oppressed
many
and the
cases,
oppressor. You
these
just said they're
Asians.
oppressed. They're
No, no,
oppressed.
yeah, yeah, and they've been
They're
oppressed for
oppressed.
over a century.
There you
What-
go.
You
That's
heard of the
it.
Chinese Exclusion Act, but all the
What about the
the
Chinese? What about the
hundreds.
Japanese? What about the minorities who
Yeah,
are running
yeah.
Google?
Hey,
What
who
about
did
the
this?
majorities
Who
who
do
are
we?
running, what's his name? This comes from Syria, the guy who started Apple. These people, it's all Americans. They're
Look,
Americans. They're not
whatever,
Asians. They're not
whatever you
blacks. They're
think
not
about.
Africans. They're Americans. They're Americans. And if they're not Americans, go home.
And they're not. Oh, and they're not. Yeah, you think of what? And
Go
again, the
home.
history
Go
is
home. Go
they're
home.
not treated by white people as full Americans.
White,
In fact, again,
why are you being such a racist?
it's
How do you, this
I'm
thing? You see this
acknowledging
picture of
history.
me? You see this picture of me? I put that up. That's an AI generation. Oh, that's not true. You've seen me. You've been to the restaurant. But this. Come on. Zoom and the internet strips everybody of what they look like.
Look, Ken, someone like you who's of Jewish descent, like say in the early 20th century, you wouldn't be considered white,
You
just
know
like
what?
Italians or Greeks like me weren't considered.
Some people, I know some.
South people from Southern Europe were different.
Yeah,
We're not
yeah. I
seen
want to
as
tell you
whites,
something, Alex. In
or the
this
Irish.
country, Alex, in this country, I know Jews who have turned to Christians, and I know Christians who become Jews. You go pick what
Yeah,
you want. You don't have it what your parents were. You do what you want to do based on your sovereignty as an individual in this country, the
but
rights of the individual.
that has nothing to do with how you're treated by the overall society.
No, it does.
You
It
could no no
absolutely
no
does.
you
Absolutely
could you
does.
could think
By who? Treated by who?
you could you could
Prejudiced
think
people like
you
you?
could
No,
no no
no.
no
Prejudiced
by
people like you.
by the majority, because
The majority,
you
white
could
people, right?
you could think you're white, but if you're the wrong
Okay,
skin
okay,
tone,
okay.
you're never
We've
going to be
argued enough. I'm
accepted.
going to mute you. Uh,
You muted yourself by accident. Ken, you're muted. Ken, you have to unmute yourself. Yeah, Ken, there we go. Yeah, good. You're unmuted.
okay, we give it to Julian. What do you think about political identity politics and those who have and those who have not? And what does this have to do with communism trying to destroy America?
Well, I read a second book on on fragment theory, the different sub-nations of America. And I can't remember the name of the author. The book is across the hallway, but it was basically, I think it's the most elaborate version of around 10 books that have come out since the 1970s. And definitely, I think the U.S. has profound cultural differences in the different regions that explain U.S. foreign policy, which is my interest. So I think there is polarization. I think it's remarkable that the U.S. was even created in the first place, having read those books. I mean, the amount of compromises you had to do, between Dixieland and the Puritans of New England and the Quakers. It's just, it's really surprising. And even the differences between, those slave-owning states that originated in Barbados versus the parts of Georgia that emigrated from England that adopted slavery after they immigrated.
Yeah, there you go.
Basically, very complicated. I mean, it's Canada had a much easier time because it didn't have to make those difficult decisions. I mean, it basically had it imposed from above. I think because of the administrative burden of the type of infrastructure you'd have to build if you were part of an empire. Canada could never have done it without British financing. So the thing I was saying is I would like to see more Trump supporters interviewed by by you, just because it seems that they're censored out somehow.
Yeah. Well, since you're talking about Canada, you still do have partisanship or whatever you want to call it, identity politics between the French and the English with
Sort
Quebec.
of. Sort of. I mean, Quebec in the books that looked at a fragment theory in the U.S., they would occasionally have a chapter on French North Americans in Louisiana, New Brunswick, and Quebec. And the reason there isn't that much conflict is because the French Canadian culture is about the most liberal in North America. It's the most atheist, the most accepting of immigrants within some parameters. There's a law against having a burqa in public and of having religious symbols when you're representing the state. So in some ways, it's also super secular. It's an extreme version of separation of state and religion. So when the French are that accepting, you're not going to get. It's not an exclusive culture. The French Canadians, for the most part, think they can thrive within an English North America. In the U.S., on the other hand, I mean, it's the reading about the inherent illogic of a slave state. The Puritans were pointing out that essentially the slave states ran big brothels, because not brothels, but were like a brothel, because you had inevitably the creation of a large mulatto population, because the slave owners could not but help themselves to exploit sexually their slaves. And so they were automatically undermining their own authority. Even if there hadn't been a civil war and the South had become independent, it would have been overthrown in a slave revolt run largely by colored people. And you see the same thing in South Africa, where a lot of the landowners in Cape Town are coloreds. I mean, it's you can't have a racist policy if you're going to have sex with the people you're dominating. It's cultural suicide. So I think that So the it's not as bad in Canada by a long shot as the U.S. U.S. is constantly talking about civil war, and it's in Canada. The focus is a lot more on actual, what I like to think, actual quality of life policies. No one in Canada is challenging universal health care. No one. I mean, it's like 95% in support.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So can you find more Trump supporters? Because we got to hear from these people.
Yeah. Yes, but it's safe as a Trump supporter talking about being disfavored or criticized or name calling. If you say anything, then you're racist and you're a fascist. So people, and I'll tell you the things, the friends I know and the people I've talked with, mostly actually upstate New York and different places, they're not malicious about the woke insanity. The people who believe that and have all this stuff and call people traitors, call people who disagree with them racists, and think that the minorities have suffered worse than the Jews in the concentration camp because they were denied the opportunity to be a physicist or something. But whatever, I'm minimizing stuff. I don't mean to do that. So you get the woke people, the right wing people, or the MAGA people, or the people who support reform or reformation. We're not antagonistic to that, because we don't call them names. I don't call them like red baby diapers. I forget what that phrase used to be. The people who graduated from Queens College. But we do look at the impact that the Franklin project, when it moved to Columbia, had on educating people who then became college professors, and what they've done in teaching all the evil things in history. Not just, I was just listening to a lecture. The colleges, the elite Ivy League colleges, have not just been favoring the negative activities occurred in the United States. They don't cover the positive things even in France or Germany or England. They don't cover any of that. They just cover the negativity. They don't cover the Magna Carta. They don't cover the French Revolution. They just cover the terrible burden that France and the Europeans, colonialists had on the third world. They never talk about the roads and hospitals that have been introduced there.
Hey, I have a question. What goes
Sewage.
the road to a hospital if you can't use it?
There you go. See, there's a guy right there. So anyhow, I wanted to point out one thing, by the way, and then I think because of what Julian said about the coexistence of French and English in Canada, I think you have to say French Canadians and non-French Canadians, because I have a big article about what just happened in France last week. And I just wanted to point up, I did a little research and I found out that in effect, the United States, let's say, started at 1779 or 1776, and essentially any kind of racial oppression of people from Africa ended finally, for the most part, in 1965, the Johnson. That's about 200 years. Whereas most other nations that experienced slavery or instituted it, like all the countries in northern Africa and the west coast of Africa and Saudi Arabia and everybody, have a history of instituting slavery for about 1,000 years. So, and the same standards, the same oppression. It goes, world history is that you can't find a book or a civilization which did not have slavery in the last 5,000 years or 3,000 years, whatever you want to do if you're an historian. So the U.S. had it for about 200 years and then actively made efforts to eliminate it, starting in 1863 with the Civil War. Maybe I have my dates all wrong, but I mean it's just an argument. You might as well argue, and I don't know if anybody's done the research on this. People who are right-handed are very oppressive to people who have left-handed. Most of the things like scissors are designed for people who are right-handed. And when you go down to eat, they put the fork on the left and the knife on the right. And there's other things, the way doors open in the office buildings. It's usually the door on the right that opens, the one on the left is locked. So there's a lot of oppression of right-handed against left-handed. And credit to the people who are left-handed, they put up with it and somehow managed to function and be successful anyhow, and tolerate that degree of oppression. Anyhow, I just threw that in. Let me just run this fast thing about this horrific, or let's say significant effort that happened in France.
I've got another question from the
Okay,
floor
go
from
ahead,
Felix, who asks, what
Joseph,
about people who are
Joseph,
ambidextrous?
Joseph, could you turn on your camera?
Sadly, my camera doesn't work.
Okay, go ahead.
However, I'm African American, if you're wondering.
Oh, I don't care. Go ahead. Go ahead. You had another comment. I think you have to unmute, maybe.
No, the person keeps losing arguments.
We're at the diner.
Oh, you're
Okay.
at the diner.
So if you
Oh,
hear the
it's
echoes
Joe.
and everything
Hi,
like
Joe.
that, we're all at the diner. Joe, me, all your pals are at the diner,
Right.
waiting to take you apart. Right.
Don't you know I'm telephone?
Oh no, you're one of them.
Okay, so here we go.
You want
This
to?
is I'm gonna put Joe. Did you make your statement yet?
I did. I made two statements. The last one, like I said, was actually from Felix,
I
who
don't
said,
think. Go ahead.
where did the people who are ambidextrous, where do they stand?
Where are the people who are? You mean have access to the hospitals?
No.
I was making a small joke. Sorry about that. My point being is, yes, everyone has had slavery. The question being this: when you have slavery and it's 1,000 years ago versus having slavery versus 100 years ago,
Yeah.
isn't civilization supposed to improve? Wasn't the Age of Enlightenment supposed to take care of that stuff?
Well, who's
So,
you
what's
mean
the excuse?
you mean God said that civilization will improve? Well, then he messed up with World War I and World War II and what happened in Mao's sending people to killing people, and Stalin killing people, and Pol Pot. No, I don't think you could say civilizations were dedicating to improvement. Not necessarily. America, maybe you could say that. Every little thing you buy, they say we got a new version of it. It's better. It comes up with two handles. We're always trying to improve everything, and China seems to be that way now, and what they're doing for their country there. So it's a good noble thing to make life better, but you got to be responsible, make sure it's better for the rest of the species that happen to be located here, and the general and all of the living things, and not destroy the planet. But you can make things better. It's a good motto. That's true. But it's not a commitment. A person can. I know a lot of people closely related to me that will sit and watch TV all afternoon, and they watch The View, and they watch this, and they watch that. Sitcoms, and they're not educational material. And regarding DEI, I spent about 3 or 4 years working on being on the committee of a radio station where we obviously made efforts to elect people on the board from a diverse communities of African American and Latinos and Russians and anything, and gays and this and that. And all we had was a lot of factionism. Everybody standing up for his rights and his people. And they wanted radio shows about what they're talking about, and the rest of the stuff is ridiculous. And I want to make sure nobody's stepping on my toe. So it's not really necessary. I don't think it's a workable. It used to be a workable thing in movies that we saw about how when we sent troops over to fight in World War II, you showed the whole platoon. There was a guy from Brooklyn and a guy from Carolina and a black guy and a short guy and a tall guy.
You didn't see any movie made in World War II except maybe for Sahara, where you saw a black guy, a white guy, working together.
Well, I've seen them. I can't give you the name, but I remember one particular one that wasn't a war movie, but it was called Lost Continent, and the adventuresome, cute groups that go out to find King Kong or to invent new things. They always have a diverse
King
collection.
Kong isn't really a war movie. Last time I
It's
checked.
part. In fact, right now the Academy of Science, excuse me, the Academy Award Committee, the group, they won't give any awards to anybody unless there's absolute diversity in the cast, in the crew, and everything, and in the plot, and in the script. They've, so it makes it a little bit hard if you're trying to do a
Right.
version of
Well,
Porgy and
Ken,
Bess.
did you get that? Is that one of the regulations from the American Academy of Motion
I'm
Picture Arts and
paraphrasing it.
Sciences?
I'm paraphrasing it, but I'm not far off. They won't give awards unless they demonstrate a lot of DEI.
Well, that's your interpretation of what's going on.
No. They set those rules out. Oh, you mean because I'm calling it DEI? You could call it whatever you
No,
want.
I mean,
I'm
I
just trying to
just
be polite.
didn't know there was a rule. I mean,
Oh, okay.
what is the rule then?
Let's see. What is it? What's the name of the organization? The
The
Academy?
American Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences.
Motion pictures. Let's get that. DEI rules. I'll be very gross about it. Let's see what comes up. Rules Oscars.org. Okay? And it says rules and eligibility, complete rules. And, well, let me go down the regulations. Rule 1. Award definitions, eligibility, award years and deadlines, submission. They got a lot of things. So let me go back and pick something.
It's for it.
Oh, I know what. I'll just get it out of AI. That'll be faster. Because I can get a summary out of AI. Come on, there you go. Bing. And I'll say summary. Okay, so the summary of the DEI rules from the American Academy of Motion Pictures are, here's clear, accurate, non-politicized summary of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences DEI rules based on directly on the official sources surfaced in what I was just looking at. And here they go. So, only to films seeking, the standards apply only to film Best Picture consideration. Other categories are not subject to DEI. To qualify for Best Picture, a film must have at least two or four standards. Each standard has multiple ways to qualify. Standard A, on-screen presentation, themes, and narratives. At least or significant supporting actor is from or an underrepresented racial ethnic group. 2, overall cast, at least 30% of the secondary minor roles are from underrepresented groups, women, racial, ethnic minorities, LGBTQ, people with disabilities. And the third possibility is storyline or theme centers on an unrepresented group. So you can get qualified if you have any one of these A1, 2, or 3. Then standard B, creative leadership and project team. Well, that's to be qualified for Best Picture. Then they got standards for leadership and project team. B1, at least 2 major creative leadership roles, director, DP, composer, casting director, are from underrepresented groups. B2, at least 6 technical crew roles are filled by unrepresented racial ethnic groups. And B3, the overall crew, at least 30% from underrepresented groups. So I could go on, but just check this yourself.
Well, I have a question to counter that. I have a
Before you
point to
counter
that.
that, but
Go
before you
ahead.
counter that, I want to back off. If you follow these rules, you could probably redo a presentation of Porgy and Bess with just straight African Americans and not worry about anybody else, because you could do that with the crew or the writer and so forth. So you don't have to worry just about the actors. You can skip around that. But it's a big, long thing. So there it is. It's there. It's available. You can see it. I don't know when they
Okay, I didn't. Did anybody say it wasn't? My question to you is,
Yeah.
am I wrong in thinking that you think that's a bad idea? Number one, and number two, if you do, or if you think that it's unnecessary, please point out to me how many African Americans have won an Academy Award, how many Asians have won an Academy Award, how many Latinos have won an Academy Award, how many Native Americans. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, you're saying that in every aspect of existence, physicists, astronauts, coffee makers, people who work for
Stop
Burger
that right
King,
now. What we're talking about. Stop that right.
They should
Stop
be
that right.
related to
Stop
the
that right
proportion.
now. We're talking about movies
Okay, so
and the ethnicity. Thank you, in a movie.
why
And the
should it
point
be?
being is,
Why should it be?
until
I
that
got a
was
question.
put,
Why should it be?
because yes,
Why should it be proportional
because it
to
appears that when
the
people are left to their
census?
own devices, they don't do the right thing.
Well, then go live with kangaroos. You don't like the way people are. You think people are bad. Go live with kangaroos. I think people are okay. And the people I know who've been racist or bigoted, I can deal with them. I don't have a problem, even if they're.
Well,
If
I
they're
think you would have had a problem.
no. I
You
could
go
just
back
tell them.
far
I
enough.
could just
You
tell them
go
take
back
a
far
walk.
enough. Guess what? You'd have a problem with them.
Well, I know a lot of celebrities who didn't have a problem. I don't see how anybody could complain, like, Michelle Obama or Denzel Washington. They don't complain. They say, stop it, forget about it. Or the other guy
If
who's,
you haven't heard Michelle Obama complain about this country,
that's the point.
you're
She
taking
shouldn't
drugs.
be. She shouldn't be. She's ridiculous. Look what her position is. She's the first lady. She's got millions of dollars.
No,
What is she complaining
that's
about?
called tokenism, Ken.
Tokenism. Okay, great. Well, everybody wants tokenism, and that's what Joe is complaining about. What's the Academy Award? It's a token. It's a token. They give away Academy Awards to anybody who does a part of a retarded person, like Rain Man, or plays a crazy person. They always win the Academy Award. It's known. And
If that's all it is, why does it matter to you, Ken?
well, I'm just saying, you want to believe that this country is racist and oppressive. That's a communist concept. That there's only two kind of people: oppressors and oppressed. That's the communist concept.
No, because
that's Mandami. That's what Mandami.
Racism has been
there's
mentioned
the landlords
well
and there's
Karl
he wants
Marx
a
or any
tenant or
socialist said anything.
Mandami
Racism.
wants, okay, I don't want to argue with you in this.
People were talking about racism, the ancient Greeks and Romans.
So you're telling me racism is a communist plot?
Yeah.
Look, you guys, everybody has a right to get involved in what they're interested in. Motorboats going on a lake.
Yeah, you're
planes,
interested in communism,
pickles,
right?
food, anything you want to be interested in, you can be interested in. If you want to be interested in racism and dedicate your life to that, dive in, enjoy it. But if people who don't care, they don't have to dive in. They don't have to agree with your standards. This is the country in this country. I don't have to. It doesn't matter what I think.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what Joe thinks. We have the right to think what we want.
Ken, it's not. You don't care because it's not affecting you all that much.
You can't force people to think
If you were from a different ethnic group or with a different skin color, it would definitely be affecting you. And you would most likely care.
I don't. I defend your right to live in that delusion. I absolutely think you have a right to live in that delusion. Okay.
Look,
Mel Brooks is a racist because he has to be, because he doesn't support anti-racism. That's been out there.
No.
He does support
Blazing
anti-racism.
Saddles is an indictment of racism in a bunch of his other films too. So that's nonsense. I mean, again, Blazing Saddles alone.
Okay, so let's take a look at what's happening in Paris. There's a racist thing going on in Paris, and let me get to it because I keep trying to get to it, and then something else happens. Oh, geez. Oh, wait, where is it?
In order to get to racism, he has to understand it first. Something he doesn't know.
Here, I got France, and now I just need a moment
What are the points?
to stop the denture. Skip, pause, and now I go back to Zoom, and I put this guy over here, and we go share. This is now, I have to give you a warning. This is going to be shocking. It's going to be shocking what they're doing in France. 1 second. Come on. Share. More. There we go. Portion of the screen. Share. Oh, I got to turn the sound on. I always criticize everybody else when they don't do that. Okay, so now I got to get to it. It's coming up. There we go. Ding. I got shaky hands. Okay, so here comes. Can you hear that? Whoops.
French media this weekend that immigration to the country has, quote, reached its capacity for integration and assimilation. We must put an end to immigration as it is
And
today.
we're hearing but not seeing
Orban
it.
proposed the government start by blocking.
You're not seeing it? Does anybody see it? It says Calais.
Now we can see it. Okay.
Migrant family reunification and to reform the constitution to allow legal quotas on the number of people allowed into France. Darmanin, who has served in almost all governments under Emmanuel Macron, says the issue, if not dealt with now, will have to be settled at next year's presidential election, though the Justice Minister declined to state whether or not he will run. The majority of small boat crossings to Britain arrive via France. The country faces fierce criticism from politicians here for its failure to police their coastline. Though moves to clamp down on people smugglers operating in northern France has seen the gangs launch crossings from Belgium. Leading the polls for next year's presidential election is the right-wing Jordan Bardella, who has agreed with Nigel Farage that a future Reform UK government would be allowed to tow migrants back to Calais.
Where to win the next general election, that would be the thing we have to solve in 3 months.
First 3 months?
I think we'd have to.
But you won't be out of the ECHR in 3 months, so how do you do that?
We're going to have to be.
Well, it's an act of war to go into French waters, isn't it, without permission?
So I've sat with Jordan Bardella, who is odds-on favourite to be the next premier in France. I took him to lunch, actually, in London, and it's one of those lunches where...
Two-bottler?
I ordered the best French wines, and some good food. The French, you've got to look after them. And then, sort of as pudding approached, I said, well, I'm very sorry, Jordan, but we've given you 800 million quid already. And this is before the next 660 million quid that's been promised. I'm really sorry, but unless you stop this, I'm going to get the Royal Marines to tow boats back to France. And it all went very quiet for a bit. And within an hour, he said, I accept that. I get that.
Either way, reduced immigration to France is likely to alleviate Britain's migrant crisis. Nick Dunning, GB News.
Breaking news this morning, GB News can reveal that more than 70 illegal migrants have arrived in Dover this morning alone. That brings the total arrivals since Friday to more than 970, which is higher than first reported.
Yes, more crossings are expected later today amid the heat wave, of course, with reports of further activity around the port of Dunkirk. We're looking at those pictures now from the French coast, where police have just been spotted with a group of migrants who are likely to be waiting to board a dinghy to this country.
Well, let's get the latest with GB News national reporter Will Godley, who joins us now. Morning to you, Will, and this number is higher than first reported.
Yeah, so initially we were hearing there could be 50 on board this Border Security Command vessel that's just docked in Dover. We've now had those figures sent to us from people watching on with the telescope there. And we've been told approximately 72 small boat migrant arrivals this morning. This is the footage that was recorded of that boat, the Border Security Command vessel Courageous, just arriving in the port of Dover just after, I think it was 6 o'clock this morning, with 72 migrants on board. That boat left the French coastline in the very early hours of this morning, around 2-3 o'clock in the morning, making that journey, crossing the channel under the escort of a French naval boat, getting to that halfway mark in the English Channel, where it was picked up by this Border Security Command vessel. And there you see the disembarking process there, with those small boat migrants with their orange life vests on, the very clear footage that we often see of them wearing those life vests in order to keep them safe as they make the dangerous journey to cross the channel. But they are, of course, not alone in the channel today, as we've seen footage coming from the beaches of Dunkirk this morning, showing more people attempting to make the crossing. Footage there shows people crossing the beach and wading into the waters, as police standing by on the beach, as you say, Alex, watching on what is happening there. And there is a huge amount of police on the beach. Not sure from looking at the footage what exactly they're doing, whether they were attempting to slash the boats or prevent people from boarding. But once the migrants are in the water, it's very difficult for the police to stop them from getting into the boat. And this particular boat that they were getting into in the Dunkirk area wasn't one that was being launched from the beaches, where police would have access to slash the inflatable part of the boat. This was a boat that's called a taxi boat that travels along the coast, picking up different people from different beaches. And the footage that we've seen shows people attempting to board from one particular beach in the Dunkirk area. And once that boat is deemed full by the people smugglers, it will then turn out towards Britain and make that crossing again under the escort of a French Navy vessel. So later on on this morning. No doubt we will be hearing that more small boat migrant arrivals are in Dover, as we're seeing now footage filmed this morning of that first boatload of small boat migrant arrivals. Approximately 72 on there, which takes this bank holiday weekend total from Friday through to today on Monday to 975.
1,000 mark just over the space of 3 days. It's completely bonkers, isn't it? It really, really is.
There's nothing more important than keeping your money and your identity safe online. And with £49 a month, and you're covered. VPN encrypts your connection, makes this military-grade AES 256 encryption.
Rushing to secure British.
Let's imagine you own a taco restaurant in LA. So all we do is type in the name of your restaurant and then
citizenship before the Boris Wave loophole closes.
Yes, in the year to March, more than 312,000 people applied for citizenship ahead of the government's crackdown.
Yeah, Home Office figures show it's the highest number of applications on record.
Well, to tell us more about this, we're joined now by former number 10 advisor Oscar Reddrop. Morning to you, Oscar.
Morning.
You surprised by this?
Not at all. I think it makes complete sense that we're seeing this kind of late rush. And that, unfortunately, is, in terms of policy and politics, you talk about unintended consequences, even to policy that is looked to rectify mistakes, like all of a sudden we tighten the restrictions, or the Shabana Mahmood's talking about obviously increasing definitely to remain from 5 to 10 years. They often have unintended consequences that are negative, like this. To link it to the footage that you guys showed in that report, though, I thought that was really, really fascinating. And when we think about immigration policy in this country and how disconnected it is,
we need to hear the whole thing of this.
Just kind of walking around doing absolutely nothing whatsoever. And yet, as a government, we have expanded a lot of capital on.
So I'll just stop the thing.
Yeah. And again, as I told you,
is there anything else on? Can you put on Turner Classic Movies or something? It's
Well, there is a thing that the EU did about 2-3 weeks ago to stop. All of the EU countries agreed that they could deport people but it has to be outside of the EU. And they're trying to set up in Tunisia.
Isn't it saying that Native Americans didn't decide to deport Europeans about 400 or 500 years ago?
We can still do it.
What do you think? I mean, there's everybody's always talking about how wonderful Europe is and we should follow their standards. Sweden is stopping the immigration because they had an increase in rapes and violence. But everybody's
it's called scapegoating. Oh, okay. They had an increase. So let me ask you.
You guys got to wait a minute. Take a second and get rid of your shaded glasses and start reading news and stop following everything.
Excuse me. I've been reading news as long as you have.
Okay, so what happened in Europe?
Number one, I'm not talking about Sweden. Let's talk about the figures in the United States. Who commits most crimes in the United States racially?
The black men from the age of 18 to 25 are more likely to get shot.
Google it. Stop. Just stop and Google it.
And most often, black people are killed by blacks, and white people are killed by whites.
Did I ask you? I asked you. Here, listen for a change. Who commits most crimes in America? Black men? Wrong. White men. Google it.
Criminals. Criminals do.
Charges.
Criminals commit more crimes.
Sometimes you didn't want to answer that one because you know you'd be wrong.
It's not criminals.
And Ken, the more important thing is, why are you using that GB News again? I told you, last week, no, 2 weeks ago. It's a far right news outlet. If you look up on Wikipedia, the guy who founded it is accused of anti-Semitism. You might as well start citing Stormfront as a source.
Okay. All right. I don't want to get into this. Who thinks Alex is just pushing politics? He doesn't want to talk about reality. Just everything is politics.
Politics is reality.
That's it.
This is scapegoating.
Does everything depend upon right or left? Everything depends upon right or left? Would you go to eat?
Immigrants are responsible for everything. When they commit crimes less than their portion of the population, because obviously immigrants don't want to be deported, so they avoid criminal activity.
Okay, you guys. All right, I'll shut up and you guys will shut up. Let's get somebody else. Let's say Mike.
How about me?
How about you?
Okay. I have a bone to pick with Julian.
Go ahead.
He said that Quebec is the most liberal province in Canada, and Montreal. However, Winnipeg actually had an NDP mayor. So that's my bone to pick. I'm sure Julian will not care about that. But I will. I think we could come to an agreement on something, though, Ken. I mean, really. Can we all agree on this? Racism is bad. I don't want to overcomplicate. I mean, I know that's a very complicated statement, but racism is bad. If this is something that maybe we can come to some agreement on, that maybe we can start from there. Really, I know I don't want to use complex words. I'm using. I know it's very complex, but the phrase is racism is bad. Can we agree on that? Maybe. I don't know. Just Ken, can you agree that racism is bad?
Not with the overtones you seem to be adding into it, like it has
How
to
about
be
the
outlawed.
undertones?
It's worse than anything. It's
Wait,
worse than
say, hold on.
pedophilia. It's worse than
I happen to
choking
think
people.
that
It's worse than anything in the world.
I happen to think that racism is worse than anything, but you don't have to
You
think
have
it's
a
worse
right
than
to believe
anything.
that. You have a right to
Right.
believe that.
But I think what we should all agree in is racism is bad. It
It's
doesn't
not.
have to be the most bad. It doesn't
No,
have to be the least bad, but it's bad.
it's not
I mean, it's
optimum.
bad. Look, if bad is too complex a word, I'll try to simplify it even more.
Yeah, non-optimum.
Not good.
Not good. Ray, how about this? Racism is not good. Can we at least agree on that?
Sorry.
Yeah, that was. Thank you. I'm going to thank Donna, who's sitting here, who contributed that conciliatory note. Can we say that racism is not good?
I know that in all the Middle Eastern countries, they're very racist. You can't become a citizen of Saudi Arabia. You can't become a citizen of Japan or China. They're very racist. They're very racist. They're very racist.
No, actually, it's Saudi Arabia. It's all about.
Wait, who's? Look, wait. Let's get back to the original point.
India still has a caste system. They're very
Yeah.
racist.
Racism. Okay, agree. Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
Agree or disagree.
Yeah.
Racism is not good.
Some cultures consider it's good. Some cultures consider it's bad or the worst thing.
Okay, all right. How about this? So you're saying some cultures.
I have a viewpoint on racism. I definitely do. But my viewpoint isn't your viewpoint.
Yeah. Okay. Ken. Okay. Wait. There are cultures. You can't equivocate anything. If you want to try to be very DEI, Ken, you could say that all cultures are equivalent. You can't say that Nazism is worse than democracy or freedom. Everybody's entitled to their own culture. But there are we just put certain moral barriers up, certain moral codes. And to say, for instance, nobody will ever say, except in a Woody Allen movie, death is good. Okay?
Death?
You're
kidding me. What do you mean?
No. Death in general is very unhealthy for life.
No.
Death has a very negative effect on life. At least on an individual basis.
Not in India.
Not in India. Death has no negative effect on life?
No.
Well, you might say that death curtails life, at least to some degree.
No, you come back and you have another shot.
But it does put a little crimp in it. I mean, okay,
it's
puts a little damper on things.
Like switching from one boat to another boat.
Oh, right, that's right. You have to do good things in order to come back, which means you have to say things like racism is bad in order for you to come back and to be reincarnated. Okay. I think reincarnation All right. Okay. I think most of us.
Is that one of the tenants? So
No.
Okay. Yeah. You're obviously you've drummed up a lot of conversation on on my end here, and there's a lot of debate going on, but we're pretty much agreed that racism is not good.
In
And
Western culture, absolutely.
Well, but racism isn't good. In other words,
In Western culture.
You mean it's okay in other cultures?
Absolutely was okay for thousands of years in Western Africa. They used to capture people and make them slaves.
And who did they sell those people to?
Jews. To whoever paid for them.
Definitely not Jews.
Whoever
Who did they sell them to?
They sold them to other black people, and they sold them to white people, and they sold them to Asian people. They sold them to whoever would buy.
And they sold them to a lot of Americans, didn't they?
Not that many.
Not that many?
No.
A few million.
The Atlantic trade, for the most part, went to Brazil and Jamaica. 1/3, about 800,000 went to the northern.
There's agreement on that. There's some agreement on that. However, some of them did go to the United States.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't there. Were you?
I don't know if
you have anything to do with it.
I wasn't there either, but I don't remember my grandfather getting off the Mayflower.
I'm not responsible for what my grandfather did or his father.
No, you're not.
What Stalin did.
Excuse me.
I'm not even responsible
I hate to break in
here. Anybody
hate to break in here, but guess what?
Go ahead, Joe.
Guess what? The world is made like a pyramid. We all stand on the backs of our forefathers and all the way down. So if somebody did something bad in my family, not talking about yours, mine, right? And I know about it. Can I fix it? No. Maybe I can, but more than likely I can't. But I damn sure should feel bad about it.
Okay, so let's see who agrees about that. Who here thinks they're responsible for the legacy of their who is behind them being born? You're responsible. If they did something bad, you should feel about it. Try to correct it. Going back seven generations.
I said maybe if I could change it. If I can't, I definitely should feel bad about it.
Okay, well, let me tell you a fact here. In the United States, 20% of the population was born outside the U.S. So nobody here of those 20% of the population had anything to do with American slavery because their parents came from Turkey or Germany or Italy and so forth. They had nothing to do with Germany.
Okay, let's say that. All right. Were you born outside the United States?
No, but my grandparents were.
Okay, but you weren't.
Yeah, so I have nothing to do. Nobody in my heritage had anything to do with slavery in the U.S.
No, you do.
No, I don't.
Do. Yes, you do.
Why?
Where's America today?
America today? You mean United States?
That's what I'm talking about.
My feet. It's right under my feet.
Right. How did it get that way? Did you miss the point about the pyramid?
No, that's something I didn't miss the point. I take it as a religious belief, so I'm not going to invalidate it. You have a right to believe in that. You know, Chinese also have a long consideration about their legacy and worshiping who came before you and everything else like that. But if you talk to other people in Australia or Iceland or anywhere, Hutus and the other guys, they're not necessarily in agreement with that. It's a religious belief.
Well, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
If something is bad or something is done, wouldn't you say a good idea might be to correct it or at least make sure no more bad things are done?
Quite often when you try, first of all, I think it's improper, or, you could be very careful when you try to impose your morality on another society that has a different morality. Like if the Muslims try to impose on us that anybody who's a homosexual should be killed, a man can have 4 wives, you can marry somebody who's 9 years old. it wouldn't go over well in the U.S. Vice versa, if the Western thing is any girl who's 18 has the right to dance on a bar, on top of a bar, and take her clothes off, and you can't stop her, and people can marry people of the same sex, and you try to impose that in Saudi Arabia, you're going to have conflicts because these are moral things. So abortion is another one. It's killing a baby. No, it's not. You know, so it's these are moral considerations they developed by any society. They come together and they have let women in the elevator first. That's an American thing, right?
Well, wait, Ken.
Yeah.
Ken, when you can have your own morality as long as you don't impose that morality on someone else. Is that correct?
I didn't say you can't. I said you have to consider it. No, it's you can walk up to somebody and say you should stop picking your nose. It's not healthy, and it's disgusting. You can impose your morality on somebody, but you better be cautious about it because they might not agree.
Well, in other words, yes, yes. But if you imposing your morality, at least to me, suggests a certain degree of force. In other words, you
That's
are.
why I said that's right. That's what
Okay,
I'm talking
so
about.
the idea is.
So you're saying
you don't-
racism
wait,
is bad.
Wait. Let me finish the
sounds
point.
like you're justifying
Yeah,
imposing
Ken, let me
anti-racism.
finish the point because this is my point.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to finish it
Go
because
ahead.
I know where it's going. So the fact of the matter is, you don't believe that people should impose their morality, or a culture should impose their morality on another culture or another nation.
Well, they can if they want, but it's not granted that they have the privilege to. They have to make it happen, and without and they're going to use force. That's wrong. If they
I'll take that as a yes.
I take
you do agree.
It's wrong to enforce your morality on another. You can try
to enforce morality on something. So if
morality is not right.
somebody's culture, if it's part of somebody's culture,
yeah.
It's part of their culture to force other people to abandon their own culture and take ours.
Yeah.
In other words, if it's part of their culture to take over the country next door,
like
or
Japan
the country
and
next
China.
door to that,
Japan and China.
Right, like World War II.
No.
Okay.
Germany.
Just to use a small example, in World War II, part of the Nazi culture, and to a certain degree, the Japanese Bushido culture, in imperialist Japan culture, was to take over other countries.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So do you think we did not have a right to say to these, you interfere in their culture? Because their culture was saying, we got to take over these countries and kill, about 6 million people because they're Jews and another 5 million because they're communists or whatever. So the idea is that was their culture. That was their culture. Should we have abstained from imposing on their culture?
Well, there you go. So what happened? It was World War II.
Yeah, that's right. So that means that was World War II. Okay. So, but we had to do it because otherwise the culture would have kept on being imposed and imposed. The German and the Axis powers would have just kept on imposing their culture until there was no other culture left.
Yeah. So you got this going on right now between Russia and Ukraine and Gaza and Israel. And either of them is going to say they're imposing their reality on me. And it results in war.
Well, look.
They're not tolerant of the other.
Okay, wait a second. Hold on. I certainly do not feel, obviously, I think Hamas is a virulently racist organization, so are the Houthis, and that they're looking to kill Jews and other people, other minorities also.
Yeah.
I also don't think that the far right in Israel has a right to say, you know what, we don't, let's just get all these Palestinians out of here. I mean, we're talking about extremism. And when extremism and fanaticism takes hold, then there is no tolerance of the other side.
Okay.
And if there's no tolerance on the other side, and you allow that to go on, obviously respecting that culture of intolerance, that culture of fanaticism of it's our way or the highway, is going to lead to problems for yourself and an imposition on your culture. So, the fact is, there are things that are bad.
Well, if we ask Joe, he's going to give us a list of 25 things that are bad. If we ask Michael what's bad, you're going to give me a list of 25 things. And
Joe and I will
anybody
probably
you
agree
ask,
on a
you're
lot
going
of
to
them.
get him. Maybe you would agree with him, and maybe you wouldn't. Maybe he thinks it's okay to have a hot dog with mayonnaise on it, and maybe you think that's sacrilegious. It's a question of morality, which is you decided what's right and wrong, or better or worse. And that's a sovereignty that an individual has. So you can join the army and fight the Germans, but there were people who were pacifists and say, I never would shoot anybody for any reason. So they say, okay, you can work as a medic, but they didn't have to fight, you know. So you try to accommodate people in their morality if you can to make everything function well together. So if you say with the Saudi Arabians who want to have 4 wives, they say, well, the Japanese have a lot of women who can't get married. Here, take 3 and add them to you and marry them. You know, you could.
I don't know if that's the idea is just telling them they go ahead take the women might be an imposition on the women themselves.
You try to
However,
make
Ken,
tolerance and coordination.
I did want to ask.
Yeah.
The idea is there is something about equivalence. If you say I like a hot dog with mustard, and somebody else wants a hot dog with with ketchup. I mean, that is not equivalent to saying, well, one guy is racist and the other guy isn't.
I know,
There
but
is a
as
thing
soon as we
called
start to talk about racism, people get very hot under the collar. There's
there's a
life or
reason for
death,
that.
life or death, life or death. This is the worst thing in the world. This is what's killing America. This is what's wrong with this country. And it's been the wrong, and the same, that's why the Germans killed the Jews. And they just go, it's the number one thing. It's more important than being not cheating on your wife. It's much more important than that. It's much more important than not kicking kids. Being a racist is the worst thing.
I say fighting racism is more important than stopping people from cheating on their wives.
There you go.
Yeah, I would say that. And I don't think there's an equivalence between the two. Okay.
Well, there's no.
It'd be nice if people didn't cheat on their wives or their husbands. But the idea is racism can lead to worse things, Ken.
You agree.
Racism can lead to
worse than
things like
racism.
Auschwitz and Dachau.
Nothing worse than racism.
Right?
Nothing worse than racism.
Well, if racism leads to Auschwitz and Dachau, then I think an argument could be made that there's nothing worse than racism.
No, because you're putting racism as the cause behind the execution. I don't think so.
Okay. But the idea is, you do agree that, let me put it in even a more compromised way, that racism is not a positive thing in human society.
First of all, racism has to include genocide and social clubs and only wanting to date certain people. That's all.
Wait,
so you have
I'm trying to relate genocide to social clubs.
You have a range of consequences.
A range of consequences.
See, anybody who's a racist, that's it. He's racist.
No. There are degrees of racism. There's the gentleman's agreement type of racism, where it's polite, and there's the Nazi concentration camp type of racism, or the Jim Crow type of racism.
Right, and is it the type of racism of the guys that you grew up with somebody and said, I'm going to sleep with an Asian girl, a black girl, a white girl, a Canadian girl, an Irish girl, and a girl from Zimbabwe and a girl from Iceland.
Or it could be a
I
black
want to have all the
Canadian
flavors. That's
Zimbabwean.
racism, isn't it?
Jewish, black Jewish Canadian
Yeah.
Zimbabwean
That's
born.
racism.
Yeah. Okay. So the idea is that, but we can definitely say that in general, racism, particularly virulent racism, is not a good thing. I've been trying to get this kind of point of agreement here.
I don't think it's right to say it's good or bad, because my belief is everybody has racist qualities, positive and negative, minuscule or immense, and it varies through time and situation and everything.
Forget the
but
word
it's
bad.
a natural
Forget the word bad.
characteristic. It's a natural characteristic of all species. All species have racism.
Well, we'll get away from the English language for a second. Forget the word bad. It is not a positive thing for humanity. Racism is not a positive thing for humanity. I don't see how much I can't take it any milder than that, okay? I mean, that is really toning it down. But I'll leave it at that. Can you agree that racism is not a positive thing for humanity?
For generally speaking, however, I think you could be racist and say this group over here, which is a racist group, we shouldn't give them any machetes or AK-47s. Let's say it's white guys from the South. They shouldn't have any, automatic weapons just because they come from the South.
Well, wait a second, hold it. If they have, we shouldn't give them automatic weapons if they say they're going to use it to kill anybody who is not
going to tell you.
white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
We have, if you have enough
Some of them
evidence
do.
to show, if you have enough evidence to show that the people, 80% of the population in that state, country, or city has a tendency to use these weapons for violence, don't give them any just because they live there. We'll figure it out later.
The fact is, though, but you can say don't give it if the person is a virulent racist who intends to use those weapons for racist ends. Can you deny them having those weapons?
I agree. To me, you're getting into a religious thing. Racism
what is religious about it?
Racism is everything.
Okay, racism no. You don't have to be religious to be anti-racist.
Well, no, that is the religion.
What? Is that a
communism is the religion. It's not. They're against religions. It is a religion.
Well, I mean, the way I was raised, to be against racism, I guess, was Jewish. Certainly, it was a Jewish thing to be anti-racist.
That's right.
But I believe other religions also have incorporate that as well.
Well, what about the Germans the Catholics in Germany? Didn't they approve of eliminating the Jews?
Actually, some of them didn't.
The Jews killed Jesus.
Some religious leaders, both Catholic and Protestant in Germany, wound up in concentration camps.
Even for Catholics, they changed that.
Like Joseph said, the Jewish people should recognize the fact that 2,000 years ago was a Jewish guy who killed Jesus. So that makes every Jew guilty.
Actually, no, a Jewish guy didn't kill Jesus.
Well,
it was the Romans that put him up there.
So it was an Italian guy. So you get
okay. Well, he's Italian. Well, we don't know for a fact that he was Italian, and second of all, Jews are Italians; they're all the same. So the fact of the matter is,
I'm Italian on the weekends.
But Jesus was Jewish.
Maybe.
I
wasn't there. Were you?
No, but he was.
That's a general concession.
I wasn't around for George Washington to be the president of the United States, but maybe he wasn't.
Yeah, that's the rumor going around. He was Jewish. He was a rabbi.
Ken, I'm going to let Joe use my phone. Yeah, we're going to share. Well, I have to. After this invigorating discussion in which we came to this great moral conclusion, I have to go to the bathroom.
I really wanted to talk about the fact that Europe, the European Council, has decided to get rid of immigrants and deport them. And in Sweden, they have a standard You have to learn the language. You have to get a job. You have to be functional and not be a criminal, no matter what reason you took for getting into, however you get into the country. And if you're not, they put you in a holding tank, and then eventually they send you to Tunisia.
Holding tank.
Oh my gosh, look at that, Mike. It's just you and me.
Well, yeah, you left him? Yeah. Yeah, I listened through you guys. How do I? It's no, it's because Alex and I got off. My phone is dead. This is Joe. Alex is going to share this phone. Why kill all our phones? Since we're all
Well,
on the same.
I don't see. I only got Mike and me.
Because say again, my phone was low. I left the meeting, although here I am. Alex's phone is low, so he's left the meeting. We're going to use Mike's phone, which is
Mike's
fully
phone is in
charged.
the meeting. Mike's phone is in the meeting.
There you go. But we're still here.
So
No
who's
such
speaking
luck.
now? Who's speaking now?
If you don't know my voice by now, Chief, I don't know what to tell
I
you.
don't know. Is it Joe?
Oh, ding, 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 ding. Okay, let's tell him what he's won. Yes, it's Joe.
Okay. So anyhow, I'm not a radical. I'm just saying, looking at philosophy and looking at cultures around the world and throughout history. They keep applauding the Asian Greek and culture about in the action movies with Thor and everything, and there's different moralities, and they discuss moralities in sci-fi movies, and politics and everything.
Yeah. What sci-fi? What do they do discuss morality in some sci-fi movies? This is right.
The Matrix, very philosophical movie, consideration.
Matrix, very philosophical, but not very.
Yeah. Are we, or are we just created in? Are we just a video game, or are we making video games? Are we in video games? What's the difference? Right now, by the way, right now is just between yesterday and today. Oh, excuse me, between yesterday and tomorrow is right now. That's all it is. There's no evidence that it's connected to anything in the past or the future. It's just a moment that we historically grant that our actions in this event have consequence in the following events, and that
That's not.
actions in the past.
I can't speak for anybody else, but that appears not to be true.
Well, wait a
Certain
minute. Wait a
things
second.
done. You're going down that?
What if we took? Do you have children, or it doesn't matter if you do? Let's say you took a child. I don't care what race he is, and he grows up in Iceland, and they don't have any connection to world wars, history, anything. All they have is connection to is how to survive on Iceland. How do you plant food? How do you take care of cattle? How do you meet somebody and marry them? They don't have any reality on the rest of the world. Right? He doesn't know. So then he doesn't have consequence of like
Say
this.
what? Say that last part again, please.
I mean, it's evidential. It's seriously evidential. Children raised in Saudi Arabia have negative attitudes about Western culture. Absolutely, because they're indoctrinated. And people growing up in the Western culture have the attitudes about what they were educated to believe or not.
All right, people have
how
attitudes,
how
but
you're raised.
yeah, but hold it. There are people who have been raised one way who have rebelled against what they thought was not, not the proper thing to be. You are, as you get older. That the entire 60. True. Like right now, somebody says we're at war with Iran because of the things they've done to us. Meanwhile, like you just pointed out, the people who attacked us on 9/11 were Saudis. But nobody seems to remember that in one's current administration.
Yeah.
But I think people can people are more than what they're taught to be.
I don't think so. If people aren't indoctrinated in the hierarchy of a religion, they don't pray to God or Jesus. They don't say, God, forgive me. Or they don't say rosaries, or they don't bend down. They don't eat the wafer. They don't drink the wine. Or if they're Jewish, they don't eat pastrami if they're not Jewish. Whatever Jews do. They don't wear yarmulkes. Those are things that are indoctrinated and taken as a symbol. Just like if you work on Madison Avenue, you wear a suit and tie. It's a culture.
Ken, can you turn your volume
up? How's that? I can't take it any louder.
Okay, that's better.
Okay, so I don't think, I was in the corporate world for a while. We had to wear a suit and tie at different times. But, it's just a cultural thing. And, your shoes have to be shined and your socks have to match. And your shoelace shouldn't be untied. And you let the women in the elevator first. It's a culture. It's a urban culture in the U.S.
Okay, all right. But what I was saying before about racism is that we have certain standards. For instance, we don't put somebody in jail if they don't wear a tie. You might not let them into the event, but you don't put them in jail. However, we do put somebody in jail if they commit first-degree murder. Right?
No, not really.
Not if they have a good lawyer.
There was another thing where a guy did an analysis, and like 26% of people charged with murder walk out free.
Okay, whatever. But we have the right to put somebody in jail if they commit first-degree murder, right?
Not necessarily.
We don't have the right to put somebody in jail if they commit first-degree murder?
No, not if they're mentally incompetent.
Well, if they're mentally incompetent, then they could be put into a facility.
And they could say they were defending themselves, or there's all kinds of angles. But the concept is there that there's an agreement that murderers, especially first-degree intended murderers, should be imprisoned. Most states agree in prison for life is cheaper than trying to execute them. But some people like to execute them.
But we don't allow first-degree murder to go, shall we say, untreated.
That's not true.
Unchallenged.
Unchallenged.
What about Fauci?
What? What?
Say what? Okay. I mean, like, you're really pushing my buttons now. You have Donald John Trump, who told people to drink freaking
Donald Trump killed a lot of people. On his say-so, they bombed all those people in the boats. He killed a lot of people in ISIS when the first presidency, and now he's killed a lot of people in Iran. And he's responsible for it based on his orders. And so did the Clintons, and so did Obama. They give instructions to kill people with that unjustifiable, without trial or recourse or anything, just on the hearsay. It's consequence of being a ruthless, being a president of 320 million people in just this country. You sometimes
in other words,
have to be
you're saying that what you're basically saying is, forgetting about the other presidents for a second, just dealing with the present one, is that Donald Trump has committed first-degree murder.
He could be tried for it. They tried to convince him for tapping on a girl's rear end or something,
Well, but the Supreme Court has said, as Joe just said, Joe, go on, Joe. No.
The Supreme Court has absolved him for any actions that he commits, basically, while he's president.
As president. That's right. So they changed the morality and said the president, if he's acting as president. No, they didn't change morality. They changed the law. Yeah. They morality still stands. No. They said that the Constitution protects the president from acts that are considered, otherwise illegal. If he's doing them to fulfill his job's obligations.
Right. You're right, and that's the law. However, you said morality,
Yeah.
and my argument is morality still stands, and morally, the man's bankrupt.
Well, yes, you have a right to have that morality. Absolutely.
So, in other words, you don't consider murder a moral,
No. I
correct
knew a
crime.
guy once. Who was a sniper from Vietnam, and he spent the rest of his career when he came home. Whenever a guy went into a schoolyard with a bomb, he would shoot them.
Yeah, I remember when these guys would just run around the country with schoolyard bombs. When did that
Well, I
happen?
don't like all the people that got killed during the Black Lives Matter massacres.
How many? How
After
many were killed? Excuse me, how many
about
people
35,
were
I think.
killed?
35.
35?
Yeah.
Okay, if I Google that right now, it's going to say that?
I
Because if it
I
doesn't,
said it off the top of my head. I could look it up.
How many of those
All
were
right.
killed by cops?
I don't do it. We got it all now. It's
Kyle Rittenhouse.
AI.
you
X number.
don't believe everything AI tells you.
Yes. And therefore, but we do have some accepted moral codes, right? There are some mutually accepted by all countries almost, or most countries, that there's a moral code.
I've got one for you. They are, like you said, most cultures. A universal thing for most cultures is you don't sleep with your sister. Would you agree with that? He's gone. He's froze.
Ken?
He's froze.
Ken, I think you're frozen.
He's gone.
He's gone. Did he drop off yours?
Well, I'm not.
No, he's not on. And live is not on anymore. See?
My phone's gonna die.
Or is it? Let's see. Yeah. He's off.
Okay.
Yeah.
10 o'clock. 10
According to the
o'clock.
Guardian, in 2020, 11 Americans were killed during that Black Lives Matter protest or George Floyd protest, and 14 just died in other incidents linked to the.
He's back on.
Oh, he came back.
Got knocked and I'm back on. I was asking, what was the name of the guy who got killed by
Okay.
the cop
Ken,
standing on his
Ken, you've got to increase your volume.
Okay, what was the name of the guy the cop who killed the guy by choking him to death? I forgot his name. He was selling cigarettes.
Yeah, the one who killed Floyd.
Floyd. What was his first name?
Here.
Oh, the cop was
the 11 people were killed in the
Derek.
protest. 9 were protesters.
What was the name of the cop that
No, not the
killed-
cop. The guy who got killed. Floyd.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Floyd.
Yes.
What? That's his last name. What was his first name?
Yeah.
George.
Oh, and the reason.
Yeah, go on.
Okay, let's see what AI comes on.
Guns.
Short answer. Okay, so I exaggerated. This is the answer. The best supported range is 19 to 25 deaths during the 2020 George Floyd related unrest. And then with broader multi-year racial unrest, tallies reached 42 deaths. So
Where
it
you
was
reading that? 'Cause
during that.
we're going
It's
down.
how long did the riots go on? But somewhere between, let's say, 25 and 42.
We're looking at Google right now. The
Guardian says
Guardian
11.
The Guardian says 11.
And 9 of those were protesters themselves.
And 9 were protesters.
I don't
And
give-
I mean,
Where
It's
are you
murder. It's
getting
murder. It's murder. Do you think their mothers and
where
children,
are you getting
their
your
mothers and
figures?
children and wives say, "Oh, it's okay. They were
Where are you getting your figures from?
AI."
Oh, didn't we just tell you not to listen to AI?
Well, then don't listen to me and don't listen to you. Don't listen to
Not a bad
anybody.
idea, but I'm not
The
AI.
sources are
what's the
come
source?
from late May to June of 2020.
Ken,
19
Ken,
deaths.
there's,
Forbes Forbes
That's how it's
magazine
talking.
says at least 19.
Ken, the
And then the New
Economist,
York Times and PBS and local report had said 5 to 12, depending upon what incidents were included.
last week's Economist, they had a whole thing about AI, and they did a whole thing about how biased AI is, depending on which bias.
Who's that?
Like if you,
Who's that?
Alex, it's
I know. Alex, okay.
And
Well, wait, Alex, you got a problem even saying that because you don't even believe in Jesus. So who are you going to believe?
Ken, you have no idea. I do. Where does this coming from?
to do with anything.
And I do believe. I'm a practicing Greek Orthodox. I mean, I don't know whether you're pulling this out of your ass now.
Anything in there to blow up the conversation.
Okay, you believe in Jesus.
But again, the
okay.
point is that the Economist reported, they did this analysis of
Who should you believe? Who do you
the
believe?
different
Okay,
AIs,
Alex,
and,
come up with
depending how
another
it's
number.
programmed,
Right now we're at 42. Come up with a number.
A number for what?
Number of people who died because of the unrest that was created by George Floyd, orchestrated by BLM.
Well, again, the
Black
numbers
Lives
that I
Matter.
found again is that 11 during 20. This is just 2020. That 11 people were killed. Again, 9 of them protesters themselves. The 2 others were conservative protesters against the. And actually, again, the Guardian points out all the people that were killed is basically were killed by guns. And the problem was that again, people were bringing guns to the protest. And like the Rittenhouse, remember, you shot people up. So actually, again, in this case, again, it wasn't cops shooting people, luckily, but it was basically just people shooting each other. And again, the point is that again, it wasn't the protesters themselves that were being violent, but rather as the people being violent against the protesters. And also, again, they point out that I think they counted over 4,000 different protests. Again, 99.9% of them were completely peaceful. And again, only a small number had any kind of violence at all, which of course you never hear in the conservative media because they want to just, play that up. When of course, general protests again are non-violent, peaceful. I mean, but of course, yeah, they emphasize the other ones for ideological political reasons, even though again it's not true. I know you don't agree with.
Joe,
But
are you there? Is Joe still there?
Say
Joe,
what? Yes.
do you think Alex, to some degree, sounds like he's racist against the right wing? Says every conservative, everybody who's votes for Trump is stupid.
I would like to point
and an
out that a
idiot.
political organization is not a race, but
Political prejudice is not racist.
no, it's political prejudice, like you just said.
Okay, so it's not a question of color of skin. What do you consider race then?
Right.
Racism is only
I would
based on
consider
color?
racism would be against any particular race. How many does the dictionary say there are?
Does race depend on country?
So on.
So, does race depend on country?
Yeah.
No, because country could have many different people in it. Can you discriminate it against people from a certain country? Yes. But that's not considered racism, in my opinion. Anything else?
Anything else then? Is it, okay, any color of skin, not height? What if a guy is like a mulatto?
If you're discriminating against him because he's mulatto, that would be racism, would it not?
Elites within the minorities are used to repress the minority.
They have to be a minority?
Because
Can you be racist?
Again,
Can you be
not
racist
listening.
if you're in Uganda and everybody's black?
It would be if I'm in Uganda,
going back to the 60s, that the worst
right?
butcher.
And you flip the world on its head. Racism isn't just not liking somebody, it's having control, being able to control their lives, being able to, if you excuse the expression, screw them over.
Well, what's
Now,
the leader of the leader of Uganda is doing that right now, and he's black.
if the leader of Uganda is doing that to his people and he's black and they're black, that's not racism. If the leader of Uganda was black and Ugandans were white and he could totally control their lives and were treating them badly because they were white, then
So
you'd have an argument.
black people abusing black people are not
Is
racist.
abusing black people. White people abusing white people are not being racist. They're just abusing white people, right?
Okay, so it has to be. Okay, racism requires a different recognition of color.
To have racism, you would have to have a
Okay,
different
I
view.
don't disagree with you. You guys can run on that operation if that's the most important thing. We have a guy in
Again,
LA.
again, I didn't say it was the most important thing, but go ahead.
No, I know, but I felt like Mike was saying that.
No, didn't say it was the most important thing. What Mike said was, can we agree that A, it's bad, and B, humanity would be better off if it didn't happen.
Okay, so it's not something you're preoccupied with.
It's not something I'm preoccupied with.
Yeah.
It's something I have to deal with.
Are you preoccupied with it? Do you think every step you take, you say, watch out for racism?
Are you asking me, do I think racism affects my life?
Yeah, are you concerned about it 80% of the time?
Yes, I'm concerned about it because it affects my life. I could go out here and run into a cop that's racist.
Okay.
I may be denied a job because of racism. So it's something I should be aware of and I should think about. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's like here. Are you a child? Did you grow up during the 50s?
Yeah.
Okay. It's like nuclear war. It was in the back of your mind, something you should be concerned about because it could happen to you.
Oh well, yeah. At that age, yeah, I grew up with. I grew up out of that.
Now you understand.
No, I grew up with that falsehood.
Say again?
Yeah, it's a falsehood. A lot of the things that go on are falsehood because
it's a falsehood.
You know, when my father said, if they drop an atomic bomb, you will not know about it. It'll be over. In fact, the thing is, the best defense against a nuclear weapon is bend over, put your head between your legs, and kiss your ass goodbye.
Well, you're wrong because let me ask you: did everybody in Hiroshima die?
No.
Okay, so if there was a nuclear attack, everybody would not die immediately.
Yeah.
So your father was wrong about that.
Yeah. But it does no good to just to be afraid.
Of course it does. Again,
a coward dies 100 deaths.
A hero dies.
A brave
only
man
once.
dies once.
I don't know how that affects this because what we were saying was whether or not it's wise to think about being attacked by a nuclear weapon.
I understand what you're saying. And
you do.
A lot of times growing up, look, I grew up in New York City, okay, in my teens. And when I had to walk on the other side of the street when I saw 6 black people coming the other way, because I went to City College. So yes, I had fear of being
No, you didn't
mugged.
have to walk on the other side of the street, but.
Well, you say so. I've been mugged,
Wow. Okay, you've been mugged.
Yeah. So you have to take based on my experience, not my father's or grandfather's. I have to take experience of my experience and what I see in the newspaper. Harlem's not like that. I was in Harlem last week.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well,
Harlem's
point
changed.
being, okay, Harlem's changed. You're saying has Harlem changed for the better?
I guess, yeah, from my viewpoint of it.
Oh, okay. That you cleaned it up. All right. From
In the
your
last
viewpoint.
50 years, yeah.
Yes. Not in my viewpoint.
Yes, it's the community. Yeah, that's the thing is that you get into a different issue.
You're gone again. Nope, there you are. You're back.
You know, there's all kinds of. We did a lot of work with this. This is just talking personal stuff now. I did a lot of work with what we used to call the church people. You know, these are the black communities that are in the church very solidly. Some are Jehovah's Witnesses, but some are like Baptists, and they're a completely different culture. You know, they
Completely
go to
different culture from
courts, they
what?
go to church a lot, and choirs, and they have very strong family units, and they don't have a high divorce rate, and they don't take drugs, and they're very,
Wouldn't that,
very
excuse me,
conservative.
stop. Wouldn't that be any religious group?
No,
No?
no.
So you're saying religious groups by nature are not
This
conservative?
was these were black, 90%. They were black.
Do you hear what I say when I speak?
Yes.
Again,
I know other
would you not?
religious groups, and they're
What
not like that group.
most religious groups are conservative, would you say? Yes or no?
Uh, no, not necessarily, because I've seen religious groups that are liberal, that are worried about LGBT and about people not having enough to eat. They're Christian. They're worried about the things from the Gospels about help the unprivileged,
So you're trying
save
to say,
everybody,
so
save
you're
everybody.
saying Baptists don't help the African American
No,
religion doesn't help?
their orientation more is be competent and responsible. I'm going to help people. Get this guy a job. Get this guy a
That's
job and
still helping
straighten up.
somebody. That's still helping straighten up. I don't know about straighten, but
That's
helping.
fine.
That's
It's not the
still
same
helping
thing.
someone. If you're not helping
You
people,
want to
you're
make
usually
are you
not.
making a
If you're
case
not
this?
helping somebody, you're usually not following the precepts of a guy named Christ.
Yeah. So there you go. So that's fine. So do you belong to a church?
Yes, I belong to a church. I'm Roman Catholic.
Okay. So do they do a lot of charity to indigent people, or more in terms of getting people educated and working?
Where have you been? What does the Catholic Church do? After it builds a church, what does it build after that?
The Catholic Church, after they stopped with the
After you
pedophiles,
build a
I
school,
don't follow the Catholic Church that much. No.
after they build a school church, they build a school.
Yeah, they have a lot of schools and hospitals. Yes.
Thank you. So you answered your own question.
Well, that's what Catholics do, but they also do free lunch.
Yes, they do that too. Yes.
They do a lot of the things that are in the gospel.
There you go.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. I support Catholics.
That's mighty nice of you.
The Catholics were always supportive of anti-nuke and wars. And they're against the death penalty.
Killing,
They tend
because
to most of the policies come from the Vatican.
The thing is that
Filter down. But they've had like liberation theology down in South America.
It's like it was a black American did the same crime.
It's all fine. It's good. It's okay.
There's racism against them, right? But the racism justice. And black folks, yeah, whatever.
So your point being, okay, so we solved this.
I don't favor racism myself. I have friends of all. I like to have different associations. I really detest the cliche presentation of black culture on the media. It's all gangsters and hip hop, and that's it. Occasionally, you get somebody else like Denzel Washington, or there's other media, or Sidney Poitier.
Or you mean the good black people?
That I consider, yes, I don't like the plastering of all blacks are criminals, and all blacks do hip hop, and all they can do is play football and dance. I don't like that. That to me is racist.
That's you may have a point there, but when you put, you got to remember this is a business. Now, I agree with you, but this is a business, so they're going to put on what sells.
I
Sadly,
interviewed a guy who was invented the
sadly, I
super
shouldn't be
squeezer,
speaking.
and he was working in
You mean the super soaker?
the super soaker, right? And he invented that, and but that he was doing other things. I think it was for NASA, and I think now he's working on hydrogen engines. But he had a whole career, an amazing individual.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to make a movie about his story. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
maybe we can get together, write something, and pitch it to a studio. But here's
Yeah,
the
there's
point.
him.
Hold on.
Yeah.
That's good. I agree with you there. Take a movie that made money, people liked, and had a positive story. Although it wasn't like you told it totally, it did talk about World War II, spoke about blacks, and of course, we're talking about the Tuskegee Airmen,
Yeah, that's a bad news
right?
thing, right? Yeah.
How how many how many movies do you think we could make like that would have a large group of people turn out to watch it?
Yeah, not that much because it's again, it's like, oh, this is about Chinamen, Chinese people. This is about
No,
black people. This is about
no,
white people.
no, no. Number one, because things like that, sadly, good stuff doesn't sell. And number two, if that's the case, you shouldn't have movies like Private Ryan, because Private Ryan, if I remember rightly, only had white folks in it. So I shouldn't have seen that, according to the logic you just put out.
Which one? What movie? I didn't think I saw it.
Saving Private
Oh,
Ryan.
Saving Private Ryan, kind of boring after a while. I
Huh?
thought the major principle there was shoot the enemy before he shoots you, because they didn't shoot one guy and he killed somebody else, and it was a very unusual situation. Five brothers got killed and he was left, so it was
I know the part
moral
of the movie.
question.
My point being is we had just said about the Tuskegee Airmen. You had pointed out that people, wouldn't watch it because maybe there's not enough Chinese in there. There's no
No,
black,
no, 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 no.
whatever.
If it's pushed that this movie is to get you to respect black people, that's what this is. It's just to educate you. Black people are competent. No, just do a story about a guy, like the movie "It's a Wonderful Life." It could be a black guy. It could be somebody else. It doesn't have to be all black cast and so forth. I thought that the second movie. Oh, I really like. There's two black actors who I think are fantastic. Um, something and Peel. They're two black comics. Somebody and Peel. I terrible on names. They keep doing skits, very similar to Abbott and Costello. Do you know who I mean? Kay and Peel. Kay and Peel.
Oh, you just said.
Okay, what about it?
Key and Peel, and we're done. Oh, wait a minute. I got it. Let me see that. If you haven't seen them, I got the right name. Key and Peel. They are incredible. And they do what they're doing. And sometimes they do something with a bunch of other black people. For the most part,
Okay,
they're
the
just two
comedians,
characters. They do skits all over the place. Sometimes it's racist, sometimes
the
it's not.
comedians.
They're really funny.
Okay, the
They are the
comedians.
most popular to me, that the most approachable of recognition. I noticed this in the media that when I was part of whatever, there was a reason why I was watching movies coming out of Iraq and Iran, and they were just stories about people, whatever the thing was, you started to develop affinity for the people, for that character, for whatever they were going through, and these were like stories, not action movies. And I noticed that it just raises your affinity, and I had to read the subtitles. It was all in Arabic, or whatever they talk in Iraq and India and Iran, and so you get an affinity for them. I've spent time in China. I have more affinity. I hated Chinese architecture until I went to China, and then I fell in love with it, and the people. I like the Chinese people. I'm not infatuated about them, but I have a much better standard of them just from exposure, not from any justification of like what they do or anything. Just from exposure, familiarity, just like you get used to dogs or horses or square buildings or bungalow-sized buildings. You get used
Well,
to
I'm glad you were able to expand your horizons.
yeah, yeah.
However, back
So
to the
that's what
point.
you get. That's what you get with Key and Peele. You just look them up
Okay,
on
so
YouTube. You'll see what I mean.
I do know, I have seen the two
You've
guys
seen them,
before.
right?
So they're comedians. They are funny.
Yeah, but
Uh,
they do so many diverse scenes, all kind of situations, you know, and a lot of them a racist thing, like where they got a guy got shot and the German didn't recognize that he was dead or something, you know, and all kinds of things, and invasions and school teachers, and it's just them, and they're being humorous. And it doesn't matter. Most of the sketches don't matter that they're black or white or purple. It's just their personalities. You know, really good. Especially the tall, skinny guy. He plays all kinds of. You don't even recognize him sometimes. Yeah, who he is.
Oh.
You know, they're just really good.
Point of
Oh, another
information.
one
The
was like
biggest
another one was.
point
Huh?
of information. The biggest African American comic right now is
Who?
named Kevin Hart.
Oh, I can't stand that guy. That little
But he's
short guy. The short guy.
he's the biggest comedian
He's
African
super
American.
rich. Another one is Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry.
Tyler Perry is also, but
He
not as
makes
big as Hart
he's the
at this
richest guy in the
time.
world. He opened up studios in
He's
Georgia.
not the richest. The richest guy in the world, like I just checked, was the what's this guy's name? Elon Musk.
Yeah, it's another South American citizen. South African, I mean, South African. So
Thank you.
no, I know, but Tyler, he must be. He's one of the most wealthy African American producers. He makes all these movies about
Yes,
us,
he's
and he's
probably the
always
most
wearing a
wealthy
dress. He's wearing a
African
dress all the time.
American. Yeah, because he has this what's name called Medea. Yes.
His mama. I don't like him at all, but he's very successful.
Panama, you know.
Oh,
Well,
so the
next
characters.
time I run into him, I'll let him know that you don't like him.
I don't like his work. I don't know him that well, but I think he's writing too much.
You know, and we would have
There
to
was
get
a thing where remember
vaccinated.
Eddie Murphy was very popular, but
Yeah.
he built up some resentment in his own community because he would play 5 characters in one of his own movie. He'd switch his makeup and he'd play another
Excuse me.
character.
They,
And
as
people
they
by that,
say,
hey pal, why don't you give
as
your friends a position to play?
as Ronald Reagan would say, there you go again.
There you go. Okay.
No, the man did not dig up animosity because he played 5 characters.
Well, he didn't share
Oh,
the.
that hundreds of guns.
I think
Unfortunately,
that's what Tyler Perry does. You know.
unfortunately what he did was put out one too many movies, but he just had a good movie a few years ago, a big one. So
I saw one movie where he wasn't a comedy, where he was a detective or something. I thought that was pretty good. You know, I didn't like the mama thing. I think
At some point,
cliche character.
you know, easy called this. Well, what that like? I forget who said. You know, you're not paranoid when they're actually out to kill you. If they are out to kill you, somebody else.
doesn't mean you don't have real enemies. So other than that, I mean, quick questions. So, what do you think of what do you think of why do you think Carolyn Levitt is leaving the Trump administration?
I'm sorry. Say that again.
The press secretary for Donald John Trump
I'm
is
not following any. I don't know anything about Trump. What he's doing.
You don't know?
No,
You don't know anything about
I'm just
Trump,
like,
what he's doing?
I'm just watching things about the border, and I hope they finalize something with Iran. That's terrible, and stop the wars.
You want to stop the war? Yes. Well, you know, there's an easy way to finalize, or better way. There's a better way than finalizing an agreement with Iran. You know, what would have been a better way?
What's that?
Not start the war in
Oh
the
yeah,
first
yeah,
place.
absolutely. I know. I agree.
Okay,
I think
as
there
long
was
as
a
you
way
know.
I think there was a way to stop the problem with Ukraine and Russia. Just give them the land.
Just give them the land. Well,
That's
I
right.
disagree with that.
And then you could spend 25 years with guerrilla actions, or you could do it diplomatically, whatever, to get the land back. But fighting is ridiculous.
Guess what? If you spend 25 years and they're occupying your land, you're still
Well,
probably going to get the same amount of
they
casualties.
wanted to occupy a land that was for the most part populated by Russians.
Say again, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
The sector they were trying to acquire was mostly occupied by Russians who did a referendum saying, "Yeah, we want to be part of Russia." Now maybe
No, they
that's
did
all a
not.
hoax.
They did not do. They did not do a referendum
Well,
that
you're not
said
telling
they.
me it's justified
Robin,
to get
push
into
open
this.
the door and it'll open.
The scene
Say
they're
again?
in now is like, 1.5 million Russians dead and 30 or 40 Ukrainians dead. It's not good.
No, it's not good. But that's usually what happens when you invade a country, a sovereign state invades another sovereign state. That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
What they should have did is what you said they did the first time. You go to the UN, you go to the world, you say, hey, these are ethnic Russians. They want to come over to my side, and then you work on it. But they didn't. They invaded. So they're getting their ass whipped.
Yeah. Okay. So and the thing with Iran, I think it was it's criminal to just go over there and start bombing them, and it was stupid.
But the fact is that
It was stupid for us to. There are other ways for the United States to get involved.
Right.
If the Israelis want to bomb them, and they've bombed the Israelis, and the Israelis bomb them back, that's something a little bit different. But
Yeah,
the
we should
thing
have let them
being is,
stay.
say what?
It was a bad thing. It should have let them fight with Israel. Just back off. Stop funding Israel and everything and so forth.
No, what we should have did is okay. You hit him, he hits him. So stepped in as a peacemaker and see if we could have did anything.
Oh, I've tried that before. I don't have those skills.
I didn't say you. I said the U.S.
Oh, you said, you. I thought you said you.
That was
The U.S.
U.S. as in United States.
Yeah. Well, I think that I thought that in Gaza and Israel, the United Arab, there is a United Arab organization, should go in and occupy the territory and handle it, so that stop the oppression and everything.
Well, maybe someday they'll do that.
Yeah,
Hopefully it happens. But we
Just
are about
watch
to leave the diner soon, so I guess that's going to put an end to our portion of this. It's been
okay.
fun,
Yeah,
and
Jim came
hopefully next Wednesday, I might try to get on. All right.
by. Okay, next Wednesday. Yeah. Okay,
Let
good.
me give you. Let me give you to Mike, so
I
he can say
enjoy
good
talking
night.
with you all the time. So,
All right. Same here.
okay, good. I'm glad to
Ken?
hear that.
Ken, as the actual owner of this phone, we were down to one phone now. So
There you go,
I
Mike.
warned you. I mean, I promised you that I would try to get on, get the guys on, and that's what you had, and so you just learned your lesson.
No, that's fine. I'm trying to think. I'm going to try to get Jim to at least say so. There we go.
Is Jim on the call?
Jim is on the call, but I got to say, ask him to.
Oh
Oh, there we go. Here we go.
What's up, guys? Oh, so you're bringing in all those dudes from
there
the
he is.
diner, huh?
Jim?
Oh, we had a big racial thing.
Yeah, Jim, it's good to hear from you. We brought in the diner crowd and Ken, yeah, and Ken had to deal with it. So your next talk is your session. You have a session tomorrow?
No. We go back to Wednesday.
No.
You mean
Jim?
Jim
Has something scheduled for tomorrow?
No, I don't. No, not tomorrow. I hope not.
Yeah,
Friday,
there was something
no.
you sent out for Friday night.
Really? I don't think so. I think it's for Sunday. Sunday at 12 o'clock. I have this retired professor.
I'm
Some
gonna
George
check.
Mason. Omer is the following week.
You got something on Friday, Jim, on August 21st.
That's next week, yeah.
Yeah, the 21st. Yeah, that's Omer Bartov.
That's on the 21st. So there's nothing this weekend.
There is on Sunday. There's a person talking about Putin's grand strategy in the Middle East at 12 o'clock.
That's Sunday is a grand strategy talk.
And then there's the following week is Omer, and then the Sunday after Omer are two Israeli scholars talking about Israeli grand strategy in the Middle East.
That's 2 weeks from this Sunday.
About a week. That's a week after this Sunday. And
Okay.
then I got had a long conversation with Greg Irwin. So I'm going to work out something with Greg, and we're going to do he's going to do a presentation on Custer and the Civil War. And so we'll do that sometime in probably before Labor Day.
Oh, I got a question since nobody else is listening.
Wait. Ken, just 1 second. Let me get it straight. So there is nothing until this coming Sunday.
Yeah, I hope I didn't schedule something on Friday I didn't know about. I mean,
okay,
I could have fucked up. I don't think so.
No, I'm looking at it. It's Wednesday. It's Sunday, and then the next.
Yeah,
Friday.
then Friday. Yeah, Omer is. Some guy got pissed off at one of the listservs, and he said, "I'm, you're going to have Omer Bartov on. I'm not going to, and I actually brought Omer to NIMAS back in early 90s when he first came to Brown University. And Omer had completed his dissertation at Oxford under Michael Howard, and that he stayed in the United States. He was been at Brown University since 1989.
Okay.
So,
Okay, so I just want to ask a question.
What?
Jim, how much response or interest did you have in Custer? You did Custer
It's
already.
a lot. There's a whole bunch of stuff I'm planning to do about Custer. That'll take a good year to do. But I got that guy Donahue is one of the best experts in the world on Custer.
Right.
And he and I have been collaborating. But Greg is also Greg did that wonderful book on Custer and the Civil War. So, and I've got Michael turned me on to all these different Indian historians, but I'm going to get Native American historians and also specialists on Native history to talk too. So that's another thing going on. And then, I got all these other, there's all these people coming in and out of the woodwork.
He's on the Fridays. Right. And then there's one the following Sunday.
I'm trying to avoid clashing with Greg.
Yeah.
No,
you haven't been, you've been doing well on that. The only time you clashed is that one time when you didn't have a choice.
Well, yeah, I mean, like he hogs up Saturdays, and sometimes I'm going to have to just simply bite the bullet and put somebody in. But I've been trying to avoid that.
Right.
And then some of these guys. This guy, a guy from Doha, contacted me from Qatar, and a specialist on Middle East policy. So his name is Mahmoud Saloon, and he appears on Al Jazeera all the time. So I'm going to try to work him in at some point. That's going to unfortunately probably be at a weird ass time because it's 7 hours ahead of us. So I'm probably going to have to do that in the morning, but that'll happen in the next couple of weeks.
Well, don't overschedule yourself, Jim.
No.
These Saturday is tell them, Greg's speaker on Saturday flaked. Yeah.
This past Saturday. The past Saturday, the guy flaked on Greg.
Yeah, but I can't, like Greg is going to do his thing. Like, for example, I want to do those grand strategy World War II things at some point, and I'm going to record them. So, and I've been preparing for them. How many guys are at the diner now?
Just Joe, Beverly, Alex, and myself.
Well, Joe should come on and join Kenny. I think I send Joe notices But you can have Joe send me his email, but he should come on when Kenny's actually doing a going viral show. Then he can get him on as a talking head. And then I'm going to do stuff on the midterms. I'm going to do a lot of stuff on the midterms. Because actually, that guy up in Buffalo turns out to be a pretty good guy. I don't know if you've heard him yet, Kenny. This professor at the University of Buffalo who's a specialist in American politics. He's excellent.
He's a DSA guy.
Yeah, he's
a friend of Jeff Gold. Well, he's a very smart guy. Again, he's like a political science.
No. I don't think that Sean's in DSA, but and neither is Jeffrey. But Jeffrey, look, Jeffrey is I'm simpatico to a lot of what DSA. I'm not a member of DSA. I'm simpatico to a lot of what they say, but they've got all sorts. Those idiots want to take over. I remember I told you the story. They want to take over WBAI. Kenny knows how ridiculous that is to do. Mazel tov. If they want to take over VI, hey, let's do it. They had a big meeting, and they said if 200 of us join Pacifica, we can dominate the voting and we can dominate the LSP. And I looked at them and laughed. I said, yeah, well, imagine what kind of, headache you're going to get. Because, take over what? Anyway. Really.
Take over the asylum.
Yeah, right. Take over the fucking asylum.
Yeah.
Because the asylum is in rebellion right now over the bylaws, so they're all acting up right now. They're in the middle of going to court today or tomorrow in LA and put a TRO on the network.
Oh my God.
Well, they deserve it. Trust me, these guys deserve it. It's like a caricature. It's like Bizarro comic books. You read Bizarro comic books. Pacifica's like reading fucking Bizarro comic books.
I gotta tell you something.
What did you say? What's GRO?
A TRO.
Temporary restraining order.
Oh, a TRO.
Yeah, over the elections. They're going to stop. Alex Steinberg is trying to stop the elections. You know that, Kenny.
No, I don't.
You guys had dinner with him, I think. You and Chris had dinner with Kenny.
WBAI.
With who?
The board.
With Alex Steinberg.
Oh, Alex Steinberg. Yeah. He's suing or whatever.
It's insanity.
Of course.
I tell you. Well, one thing is you can feel confident about one thing. There's one guy who won't run to the WBAI board again, and it's funny. It seems to be me.
Well, it's much harder for you even to think about that anyway. The way they got the rules set up, it's all fucked up, man. We're out to sabotage these cocksuckers.
I got some good news to tell you. I found a really good market in New York.
Where?
On 7th Avenue and 6th Avenue, about 12th Street. It's called Tash Trent.
6th Avenue and 12th?
Yeah, Tashkent. Tashkent. TASH.
What's a grocery store?
Yeah, it's halal. It's like maybe Turkish, Russian.
It's
a
store.
Buffets, everything.
Oh,
Just a great variety of stuff.
That's all new shit.
Yeah.
Did you see that place down on Waverly Place in 6th Avenue, that Eastern European food place?
No, I don't know that.
Check it out. It's down, it's a block south of 8th Street on 6th Avenue. It used to be a Manny, and now it's a Eastern European food store.
Yeah.
It's down.
West.
Well, Tashkent, I think it has other ones uptown or something else.
Right.
Yeah, right. Oh,
TASHKENT.
That's all new shit. That's all new shit, man.
It's good.
Oh, okay.
It's good. Good food. Okay, you want to call it quits?
All right, see you guys.
All right.
It's been a pleasure. Have
been
a
a
very
blessing.
good night.
Take it easy, Joe.
Okay.
All right.
Adios,
See
amigos.
you on Sunday.
See you on
Yeah,
Sunday.
see you Sunday. Yeah, tell Joe about it. To let Joe know about that.
Yeah, I'll try to jump on. Yeah.